are in the basement with Tim Ross.
It's one of those things, man, that I just want to say, again, thank you for lovingly correcting me. I mean, I remember one time, can I go ahead and tell a story?
Yeah, bro.
All right, so this is the basement, so
It's
we're
the
going to just
basement, bro.
go ahead and put it all out there.
Absolutely.
I remember one time when I was pastoring our church and thought I was going to do the right thing and take our married couples to a marriage conference at Gateway. And I'm a young pastor. Most of the married couples are older than me, so I was like, I don't know how much I can tell them right now.
Right.
So let me go take them somewhere that they can get helped. So we come to Gateway for the marriage conference. Me and Nat are fighting the entire conference as the pastors of the group of 40 people that we done brought to this conference. And we get to the end where they do the little ring ceremony thing. She won't even look at me. And I'm like, woman, if you don't look at me and squeeze my hand, our people are looking at us. Like, I wasn't even concerned about like it being real. It was you better not embarrass me. We only been pastoring 3 years and these people like, and that whole thing. And I had the presence of mind because we live in an authentic relationship. You are emceeing that marriage conference. And I text you. I was like, where you at? I said, I need to talk to you. And he's like, what's up? I was like, me and Nat ain't in a good place. And literally the buses are in the front of Gateway to take the 40 couples back to Tulsa on a Saturday. And I got to preach that next morning. And I was like, we need to talk. And he was like, yeah. Get somebody else to preach tomorrow. Come to my house right now. And I'm like, what? Hold on, no, I'm the pastor of the church. I need to get on the bus and drive 4 hours back to Tulsa to preach to the people. And you said, no, have somebody else preach tomorrow and come to my house right now, you and that. And this is that moment where, as the pastor, with the responsibility and the accolades, you were giving me an opportunity in that moment to submit to authority and be lovingly corrected. And it didn't matter that I was the pastor of the church. It didn't matter anything. It was like, I know what you need right now. And so I need you to get to my house. And we sat on this Purple Rain couch. He has this velvet purple couch. I don't know where y'all got this.
It was velvety red, velvety purple.
I don't know where they got this Prince couch from. But me and Natalie,
I think it was Amazon.
We sent them back to the group back to Tulsa. And we came and sat on your couch until 1 o'clock in the morning. And the end of all of the things, I won't give the explicit version of it, but basically, Tim told me to do the blank dishes because I was putting more effort and energy into God's bride than my bride. And her love language had changed. And I needed to be more intentional with my acts of service, where I was being intentional with gifts. And doing the dishes meant more to her than me spending money. And Mike was like, hey, Tim was like, hey, Michael, I don't care what you're doing. Go home and do the dishes. And that marriage conference culminated on a couch because you were continually and continuously lovingly correcting me. And I didn't have many people in my life at that time or even now that would do that because there's no relationship there or connection there, and it's not been consistent. And so that's the second thing that I wanted to tell you. I know I'm taking over the whole first half of In the Basement. We might have to do a different episode, but I just think that I want to be the one, you know, when Jesus healed in the Bible and he healed the 10 lepers, but only one came back to say thank you. I know you help a lot of people, and I know you impact a lot of people, but I just want to always be the one that I don't care what God does. I want to come back and I want to be like, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So the last thing that I'll say is I want to thank you for being authentic. Now, people say that word, but they don't actually live authentic. You live more authentic than anybody I know. From the time I met you, you literally broke the back of performance off of my life just by how you lived. It was not a conversation. It was the outfit that I met you in that literally let me know this dude don't give a blank about what anybody thinks. So let me tell you how me and Tim Ross met, okay? But this is it's so core DNA to how our relationship became what it was.
Yep,
Because
it's true.
just in church, in life, everything's about how you present. So long story short, I was a youth pastor of this small youth group in Tulsa, Oklahoma called SoFly, Sold Out Free Life Youth. Yes, it was an acronym, and yes, our mascot was a fly, and I don't care. It was amazing. We did a youth conference called Culture Shock. And we were supposed to have Ty Tribbett and Rich Wilkerson to preach, and Rich canceled. Thank you, Rich Wilkerson, for canceling.
I owe him a bottle of something.
I owe him.
Rich, what do you drink?
What do you water? He needs to be drinking water. So at the end of the day, like Rich canceled. He didn't know who we are. We didn't know anything like that, and probably something happened that they had to do.
Yeah,
and
I didn't know who you were.
Nobody knew who I was. I didn't know who I was. Let's be very clear. Nobody knew.
Yep.
And we were doing this youth ministry on the north side of Tulsa in the hood with all these young people, and we were trying to do a first conference.
Yep.
And one of my friends was like, "Hey, you should have Tim Ross come." And he's like, "He's the youth pastor at Potter's house." And I was like, and I looked you up, and I was like, this dude looks like a dweeb. Like this is like he had on this like white shirt with like crosses on the side of it.
I remember that.
And you look mad. I was like, this dude, I don't know. And then I looked up you preaching on YouTube, and you was like in this Steve Harvey suit. And back then Steve Harvey suits was like not the new Steve Harvey, not the 2022
the
Steve Harvey.
swallow you up suit.
Yeah, like you was wearing a 3X suit, and you were probably a medium at the time, and you were like screaming and shouting. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work. And I prayed, and God was like, well, you need to invite him because you don't have any other options. And it was one of the best gifts that God ever gave. You came to the conference, you killed the conference, but we made a connection. I was in a all white suit when we met with the t-shirt, the conference t-shirt. We had a connection. We thought it was just going to be like, all right, maybe we'll invite you back to the next youth conference. This is what you did.
Yeah.
And then it was probably a few months later that I was at the darkest moment of leading in ministry and about to give up. And I told my wife, I was like, yeah, I'm about to quit. Like I'm the executive pastor of the church at the time, trying to help turn this church around. And I got frustrated, and I was done. And you called me from not Dallas, not LA, not California, not New York, not Miami. You called me from Australia. I don't even know how you got through at the time that you did. But in that
17-hour time difference.
17-hour time difference. And this was how he said, he was like, hey, what's up, Mike? This is Tim. Because this is our first phone conversation.
Yeah. Post-conference. Yeah, period.
We've never talked
We've
before.
Never talked on the phone.
On the phone.
No.
He said,
right.
He said, yeah, you've been in my dreams. God won't let me sleep. And I just need to know what's going on. And that was the exact day I told my wife, I'm done with ministry. And you sat with me on the phone, 17-hour time difference in a continent that I've never been to. And I walked around my backyard while you talked me off the ledge. Nobody would know Mike Todd. Nobody would know any. If Tim Ross would not have called me from Australia on that day at that time, I might have committed ministry suicide. And in that moment, you talked me off the ledge, and then you came and got me. And this is how I say he came and got me. He said, hey, man, what are you doing this week? Now, I've never been approached like this. Up until this point, like most people who do ministry stuff, it's about how big your ministry is, or like if you can like help scratch my back or get me network with these people. So I've never, it's like doc talk is what I call it. Like people like, hey doc, what's going on, doc? How you doing, doc? You coming to my conference, doc? Like, so I'm thinking like, who is this dude? Why he asking me what I'm doing this week? I don't even know why I'm on the phone with this dude from Australia. And he was like, what are you doing this week? I was like, working at the church. He was like, you should come to my house this week. And I'm like, is this dude a a murderer? Is this like what? Like, why would he invite me to his house? Like, I'm a youth pastor. That's what's gonna be. It's gonna be a Netflix experience, a Netflix series. This man killing youth pastors all over the country. Like, what is going on? And he was like, nah. He's like, I wanna invite you and your wife to my house. I was like, aren't you in Australia? He was like, I get back on Tuesday. Come on Wednesday. And I was like, what? He said, matter of fact, hold that thought. Let me call my wife real quick. Hangs up the phone with me from Australia. Calls his wife, calls me back in 5 minutes, like, it's all set. Come on Wednesday. All you have to do is get here.
Yep.
And for some reason, this was one of those crazy faith moments. Like, I didn't know Tim from anybody.
Yep.
But I just knew he was there. He called me when I was going to quit. And your authenticity to just like, the Holy Spirit just, been talking to me about you, what's going on? And it just connecting in that moment. Me and my wife packed up our little car and drove to Dallas and pulled up to your house about midnight. And I'm thinking, like, Tim Ross, the youth pastor of Potter's house, this dude about to be stunting on us and just like, let me make sure I got on something nice and like pulling up at midnight to his house. Like, I don't know. I knock on the door. Tim Aloysius Ross answers the door. Oh my God. Now, Tim is all of, how much do you weigh, Tim? Like, for real? Like,
I weigh 166 as of this morning.
Then you probably were smaller.
Yeah,
then.
I had
You
to
was
be like 150.
Yeah,
something.
42. like Tim Ross, all 142 pounds of himself, answers the door in a 4X army green t-shirt. Yes. When I tell you this had to be the t-shirt of his wrestling coach in high school, like this collar exposed his nipple. I want to tell you how big this shirt was. It was like he got it on sale at the Army surplus store and was like, this is my favorite shirt forever. And he had on some blue, I'll never forget this. He had some blue Reebok shorts on, but they had to be 3X Reebok shorts. And they were so old that they had, most of y'all won't even remember this, they had the actual British flag on them. Yes. Like the actual Reebok. He's had these shorts since 1981. And he answered the door barefoot and was like, give me a hug. I said, what in the world kind of matrix am I walking into?
This is hilarious.
And at that moment when he hugged me, it was like
my God.
I met my older brother for the first time that I've never known but always needed. And he hugged me and walked me through their house. And they didn't like, the house was clean, but they didn't like, you know how you put on like when somebody coming? He treated us like this is where we were supposed to be. Yeah. And when that happened, and he took us to the bedroom we'd be sleeping in and set up with me every night for 3 days till 1 and 2 in the morning at that glass table in the little dining room area.
Yep.
And took me through scriptures, and I was like, this is how I feel like ministry's supposed to be, and shouldn't we be going after these type of people, and isn't it okay to redeem certain things that the enemy used to use, and da-da-da, and you would show me scripture for everything I was talking about. You're like, yeah, Mike, that's what it reminds me of. If y'all don't know, Tim Rice has Bible for everything. Like, it's literally like a Rolodex in his mind, and this is the first time I heard people equating me wearing J's and ripped jeans to reaching people and giving me Bible for it. And we set up every night doing that. Yep. And then I found out as we were leaving that him and Juliet, we were youth pastors of a small youth group that nobody knew about. And him and Juliet for 3 days slept on a pull-out couch in the back room of their house, the kids' playroom in school, while me and Natalie slept in their master bedroom. We didn't know. We didn't see the whole house. We didn't know that. But they gave up their bedroom and their bed for two people with no ability to help them at the time. And valued us authentically. That changed my life. And it shaped the type of man that I wanted to be and gave me a glimpse in the level of authenticity that I could live in. I think the greatest gift you've given me is the ability to not have to shift into somebody else. Every room I've ever walked into, you've been yourself. The same dude that I mean, you're a little fresher now than you were back then.
Sponsored by Mike Todd.
I did buy you those shoes
for my birthday.
For your birthday. Yes. Happy birthday.
Just in case Preacher Sneakers is watching.
God bless y'all.
Yeah.
I bought these. I bought these myself. So at the end of the day, I'm saying you've evolved in how God can change and transform you, but you're the same authentic person.
Thank you.
And I know we haven't talked about anything but you this whole time. But what I'm saying is when the enemy wants to distract your life, he sends people. But when God wants to bless your life, guess who he sends? People. And when God wanted to bless my life, he didn't send me a platform. He sent me Tim Ross.